We are live on Facebook. Just waiting on YouTube. There we go. We're good. All right. We are going to have Gayatri is coming on today with Huong. And I'm just going to play the intro real quick. Share this out, allow people time to come in, and then we'll pull the ladies up. Hey, I see Marita and a few others are in the Zoom room. So welcome. Good to see you here, Marita. Long time no see. 7 people in the Zoom room. All right, let me get the ladies up here. Huong Nguyen, our host, and Gayatri Singh, our dragon channeler. I don't know, extraordinaire. I don't know what you would call her, but okay, let's see. Let me get these guys going. All right. I think you have to mute that. Huong Nguyen.
I know. I'm working on it.
Start your video. There you go. Oh, there's Gayatri. Hey, Gayatri. Okay, nice I'm out of here. I'm not part of this. So I'm gonna leave now.
Let me just figure out what's happening here. I know. I'm working
on it. Huh, why is it? Is it your why isn't it letting me get out of here? Huh. Okay, so I can just do this. And
okay. All right. Beautiful. Can everybody hear me? Just want to make sure that sometimes I have tech issues. Not sometimes, a lot of times I have tech issues. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Soul Speaks 5D. My name is Huong Nguyen. I am hosting today on behalf of the Soulology team, and we have our guest, Gayatri Singh, all the way from India. Which part of lockdown are you in?
Oh, don't ask. I got locked down at my sister's house. I've been here 2 months.
So let's start with, I mean, you've been a guest on Soulology for, I would say, well, I think I've seen you at least 3 times, right?
Yeah, I think 3 or 4 times now.
3 or 4 times, sure. So how about you just basically share with us what has happened with you since the last show with Todd? Do you remember?
Oh, well, lots happened since the last show with Todd was, oh dear, it's been too long. I think more than a year. So yes, the dragons. It's been the dragons throughout.
Yes.
And the galactics, but more of the dragons. So I think I spoke of them communicating with me to make paintings of them if I wanted to see them. Well, the last time it was just me painting a few dragons. And then since December, everything changed. It was like a total shift. The ascended dragons started coming in, and they were...
Oh,
that said that they want me to create something that would get the messages out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you just were on buffering there for a second, but keep talking. You're good. Keep going.
Yeah, so they said, well, it's not just painting and getting the messages only for you. So you've got to give it out to everyone. And well, a lot of my friends encourage me to put all my paintings together as a deck, oracle deck. And so I've created an oracle deck.
Wow.
And well, I have only the sample with me. I got everything was locked down as soon as the sample was ready. So I still have to wait to get the other ones out. But I have the sample set with me, which is here.
So what inspired you to, I mean, you mentioned your friends have encouraged you to do the oracle deck, but did you have any direction from the dragons to produce that specific type of creativity versus like
Well,
a book?
No, not so much as the book. They said they want the cards out because they want the cards hold the frequency.
Okay.
Along with the codes. So initially when I was painting them, it was just, you know, like a constant communication, and the codes would come through and the paintings would just, you know, happen there and then. And then it was the cards are for activation, for healing, as well as, you know, getting your own messages. So it's not like a regular oracle deck, which, you know, you have these many cards and then there's like fixed messages there.
Mm-hmm.
Just a slight description of what's what the dragon represents, and then you can use the codes along with the colors and the communication coming from the dragons to heal yourself and to receive activations as well with them. I have not done this. I can tell you, it's been the dragons throughout.
Right.
I've never, as I told you before, I've never painted ever in my life. And now I have more than 50 paintings, out of which 48 of them I was said to make the cards of.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
So besides, I mean, that's a huge endeavor. So did you create the dragons first in terms of artwork, and then the deck came second? Or did you decide, oh, I have a couple of paintings and then I'm going to purposely create a deck, and you created more paintings for the deck? Does that make sense?
No. It was the other way around. First, the paintings came through.
Okay.
And then not all of them are in the deck, not all the paintings. So it's just 48 of them are in the deck. The rest are still sitting on my table.
And how did you choose which one made the deck? Which one made the cut?
Interesting. Yeah, it was, I just knew which to put in.
Yeah.
So the ones that had the messages that needed to be out, the codes that needed to be out were the ones that had to get into the deck. So a few of them are still sitting with me, and I think maybe, I don't know what it's going to be like from here, but I think there's going to be another deck. That's what I feel when I finish. Is
there one card in that deck that, not that one dragon rules them all, but I'm just curious if there's one dragon card in there that kind of like entrains the rest of the energetics of the rest of the dragons? Because dragons do work in a hierarchical fashion. They are one of those entities that it depends on, like, from my experience. So I'm just speaking of my experience with dragon energy. I'm not saying that this is the end all be all, but from my experience, dragons are hierarchical creatures or beings, and it's not dependent on your power, but it's dependent on how many evolutions of a certain experience that you have been able to master. So it's kind of like our own journey. If you've gone through it and you mastered it and that experience no longer triggers you, then you've reached what they call mastery level. So I'm just, and with the dragons, I find there is usually one dragon that it has mastered so many different levels of experience that they entrain the other dragons that haven't really reached that level yet. So I'm just curious, at your deck, do you find there's different levels of dragons in your deck, or are they all at the same level, or what kind of dragons are in your deck?
There's a few different ones. So this one is the main.
So that's the big mama
dragon. Yes, this one is the main. It was emphasized that this one is the main one, the white ascended dragon, and she holds the egg.
Okay.
Which has the codes. So with everything that's going on now, it's like this one as well, but this one is more prominent. This one has the eggs as well.
Yes.
And the eggs have the codes, and these are the codes that they will guide us now to these are the codes that need to be seeded to recreate the new world. Okay, so this one is connecting to all the different aspects of you, as well as connecting to different dimensions and bringing in, it's like bringing in all fragmented parts of us together and consolidating it into one. And then the ascended dragons are now waiting for us to give us the go, because from what I received is that the gates to the old earth are closed, and the ascended dragons will help us seed the new world, the new paradigm as we are right now. We're in the pause, and then there's going to be a spin again, and we will receive the codes to anchor them into the planet, and then the creator dragons would come after the ascended ones to help us, put everything in place. So right now, we will be laying the foundation of the new earth along with the dragons.
When did that dragon pop up?
This one?
Yeah.
In December.
So in December. When did the red dragon pop up?
Soon after that.
Like right after, or?
Right after this one.
Yeah.
So this painting took about 5 or 6 days for me to complete. And then it's like I can barely finish one, and the other one is waiting to come in. Yeah. So I have to ask them to, just give me some time. I'm human. I need some time. I have many other things to do besides paint. So then this one came in. Actually, these 3 came in all at the same time. And then it was like, I just needed time to sort of bring it through.
Huh, interesting. And then was there something that happened to you personally besides dragons in the month of December while you were creating this?
Well, in November, I felt something shifting. I was completely lost. I could not relate to anything around me. And I took about a month, one whole month. I could not paint. I could not do anything at all, just be. And it was a strange time, because all of November I was like completely zoning out, and I could not relate to anything that was going on around me.
Huh.
And as soon as December came in, this one showed up, and then it all started again for me. So November was like totally like full stop, nothing coming in, nothing happening. And then December onwards, I think I made around 6 or 7 other paintings, and then that was it. After that, I could not paint. There was nothing coming through, and then it was like, okay, it's time now to get on with the next project of putting them all together and creating the messages that were coming through.
Okay, so interestingly, could you hold up the white one, the first one there, so that one there. That one there, with the egg, does the codes in the egg, can you explain that further, or you just know it as code? Or is there's a specific transmission of that?
So the message that came to me when this one showed up along with the egg and the code inside was that these are the founder codes that need to be seeded, and it has to be done through the heart center. So at all times you have to make sure you're centered in your heart space and create from your heart. All creation now needs to be done from the heart space.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like this particular dragon is also helping us create the safe passage. So she specifically assists people with crossing over. So helping souls cross over. So it's like multitasking. The souls that are going to now leave the planet, the souls that have agreed to leave, she will assist well, not just her, there's many other dragons. They will assist them to shift into the next density wherever those souls need to go, and the ones that will stay back will be the ones who will be working with the dragons to bring in the new codes. We will receive the codes through our bodies, and then we've got to anchor them, because I was shown that the crown has been activated and we need to connect to source and bring the energy down, and the dragons will help us bring the seeds as the codes, and we've got to anchor it into the planet to create a certain amount of momentum that is needed to expand the codes, which will go through the ley lines, which will go through the grids, and start activating. Not immediately. First they will be seeded, and then when a certain amount of light is gathered, they will be activated. But it has to be done with us, through us.
So what does that mean though, when you say it has to be done by us? What is there a physicality that comes with it? Is there a shift in perspective? Like, how do you know and the reason why I'm asking you is a lot of people are being exposed to dragon energy right now, but they're not at the level where you're at, where you had, I would call it intense boot camp. Like, you didn't warm up or acclimatize to the dragons. They kind of just threw you into a very short period to acclimatize to their energy, right? Without exploding. Yeah. So that's kind of one of those things. I mean, Gayatri and I have talked before, basically off of Zoom publicly, and there were some moments where you were really not sure what was happening. And I was explaining to you that what happens with dragon energy that's very unique from all the other light energies that exist in our dimension is dragon energy goes through two processes. Some of the other energies, all they do is they do one process. So the first process of dragon energy is always purification. They do not, their creation codes are not built on shitty foundations. So it's just one of those things. It's full destruction of anything that no longer serves you or no longer is in alignment, whatever that means. So when you went through the month of November, where you just lost all sense of humanness, is what I would call it, where there wasn't anything that stimulated you anymore or excited you or even like made you upset or angry, like all the polarity of emotions. You just kind of sat in a what the hell's happening zone, right?
Blank.
Yeah.
Blank. I didn't even have any thoughts, it was that state where I was just blissed out, I'll say, but at the same time completely lost because I was in the same surrounding,
Yeah.
But it was not making sense to me. So yeah, that's right. They just clear you out of everything.
Yes.
They just clean up everything. So I was just sitting around wondering what to do with myself because I could not do anything.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to do anything in the house. I mean, I had to do a few things to keep myself alive. I had to cook and eat and all of that, but I would just do it like I just, because I need to do it, and that's it. I don't remember what I went through in that 1 month, because it was a complete blank.
Yeah, and one of the human experiences that's unique to us is the desire to do things. There are different timelines out there that actually remove that desire aspect, but what's unique about ours is the desire. So, but sometimes what happens with the desire part of it is you play in the spectrum of duality, and what the dragons are trying to do is basically, when you were in that month of November, you're just like, whatever, I have no desire except the very minimum of eating, breathing, and, you know, sleeping it through to do anything. That's the purification code that is quite unique to dragon energy, and that everyone is experiencing, maybe not as intensely as you. You obviously have a stronger connection to them, but everyone in the world has access to that. So there's going to be a huge level of purification coming on, and you're going to go through that where you lose the desire to exist. Like, you have no attachments to this like physicality, this humanly realm. Nothing excites you, nothing makes you mad, there's nothing, right? But then the beautiful thing after is you get the creation of doing a whole new type of architecture that hasn't even been seen basically for our dimension. And our brain can't even handle what that looks like. Like, we're not talking, oh, money's going to flow easily to you. It's not that level of abundance, right? It's just crazy things that we haven't even been able to wrap our heads up around, and are usually narratives that are kind of held in like sci-fi world or fantasy world. But the dragons are, for interestingly, that red dragon. So can you pull up the red dragon card for a second? So what did that red dragon signify for you when you created it, or it made you draw it, I should say?
Well, yes, this is a new creation. This was like a mother, you know, just looking at her creation, waiting for it to come to life. Actually, that's what it was. It's just, this represents to me just waiting for fruition, for it to just flower one fine day. It's like just waiting. Incubation is what I would call it. So this was more like an incubation time, where it's waiting to come to life. And that's what was happening to me. And I sense that it's going to be happening to everything around me. It's all going to change. It's all going to be new. It's all going to, but I didn't know how and when, but that excitement was always there, you know, like you have these butterflies in the stomach all the time, waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock. And I was like, I cannot sleep. I cannot do anything. I have this excitement in my stomach. I know there's something absolutely wonderful coming up, but what? No clue of that. So, and I think that's going on with everyone right now. We know that there's going to be something really exciting around the corner, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah. So the red dragon, this dragon has shown up in our history, I would say at least 3 times, but it has been famously recorded in the Bible. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. So I'm not religious, and I have no idea what is said in the Bible, but I know when I met this dragon, this dragon mentioned that it has been recorded, it has been documented in our history. And I believe it's the red dragon that, now someone will have to help me with this, or maybe you can. It's the red dragon that one of the ascended masters have had to take down. And I think it had like 3 or 5 heads. So I think it's a biblical reference. If someone could just jump on the comments and help me with it. Some kind of biblical reference where there's a red dragon and they had to slay in the biblical reference, it was a slaying of the red dragon because it brought on plague and basically all of the everything that is damning and shadow work of humanity. That's what in the Bible it was referenced at. So the unique thing about this red dragon is it is a duality world that we see it in. So when it was referenced in the Bible, yes, it was the symbol of the plague, damnation, everything, humanity crashing, but it actually was not it's not because of it. It was bringing down the foundational, basically, purpose of humanity that no longer supported us. So it's kind of like I like to use the analogy of building homes because that's kind of my professional industry as well. This dragon shows up when it's time to bulldoze an old building down.
This dragon.
Yeah, so that dragon, yeah. And it's interesting that to me that you drew multiple eggs with this dragon because it's those comfort zone. It's basically for depending on the perspective of where you're at in your own personal journey, those eggs represent each type of experience. So if you live in fear, this dragon is going to be the symbology of Satan, demons, the darkest parts of our shadow work. If you move to a place of neutrality, you're going to recognize this dragon as just a red dragon. Like there's no polarization of it. It's great or if it's bad, it just is. And then there's ones where it's basically because even when you're, for example, if you're building or creating buildings, you can't just build on crappy foundations. You got to take it out. So that's when this dragon comes in. That's its specialty, is actually breaking down, taking out, cleaning the whole landscape so it's at 0 point for a very strong foundation of whatever new is happening. And then what happens is the white dragon, which I can see why it is, the white dragon is definitely an ascended master. I've met the white dragon before, very briefly, and I was just told the white dragon is basically the color it is, and it's not because of its purity. A lot of people mistaken that as well, thinking that it's white, so it symbolizes purity. It's actually like light fracture. So if you do color theology and you break down white, it's just like prism. It fractures out into all these different colors, right? That's what the white dragon is, which means that it has gone through the full spectrum that is offered to dragon experiences to get to that color. So it's one of those ones where it's just like the red dragon for me comes first, and then the white dragon is a sense of hope that it's okay amongst all the chaos and amongst all the destruction. There is one new world that's coming in. So if you hold up the other one, you only have one egg on that one, hey?
One, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, one egg. So very
so
interesting.
For me, it's been it's like I've had this constant conversation with them throughout when I paint. So it's like a constant conversation with whatever comes through on the painting, giving me information and my task ahead of what I need to do. And so there've been times where I've asked, how am I going to do that? And I was told I will know when I need to do it, I will know how to do it.
Yeah.
So with quite a lot of these, I've been told what I will be doing with the codes. So they've said don't get too much into the head part of it.
Right.
Just bring the codes, do your work, and when the time comes for you to get on with what you need to do, these are the codes, and because they're already out, you will know which code needs to go where and how and when.
Yeah.
So that's the message these two got to me. So this is like a masculine and a feminine dragon.
Yeah.
And they were like, it was like one dragon, but two of them together. So it's like two heads, but one dragon. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is when I was told that we have accomplished the task that was needed, you know, for the masculine and the feminine balance that needed to be brought. So the balance is in motion, and then this work starts with all the new codes, with setting in all the new codes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Can you bring up, okay, so the two-headed, I haven't met the two-headed dragon yet. It's okay. But the other dragon I have met. Can you bring up that other dragon that's more like an S shape? It's white, has a little bit
This
of
one.
that one, yeah. So I have met that one there. That dragon, and it's interesting for me that you brought up those 3 cards. You brought them up at basically like the I would say it's like the 3 dragons that I have met. So this one here, and I don't know which. This is the one that likes to escort a lot of the souls crossing over to other dimensions, I find.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
because
for
this
me.
one was specifically with the message that, and I tried it with somebody who had a near-death experience, a very close friend of mine.
Yeah.
He's a healer too. He had a near-death experience, and just before he got the heart attack, he was calling me for about 3 or 4 days, telling me to show him the dragons and to explain to him what they do. And this dragon specifically wanted to connect with him. And then for about a week, we had all these conversations about the dragons. And then one of the days, I just got a message that he's had a heart attack and he's in the ICU and may not make it because he's very old.
Yeah.
So I connected to this dragon, and I just said that, you know, I don't mean to interfere with his, you know, if he has to go, he has to go, and if he can stay, then I would just like for you to assist him if that's possible.
Yes.
And it's up to him, you know, whether he even needs help or he's decided to go. And he was in the ICU for 3 days, and he came back. And when he came back, I contacted him, and he said that he had a near-death experience. So he had all the various, you know, stages where you experience when you leave your body. But he said that at one point he did not cross over, and he met the white dragon, and the dragon showed him that he needs to get back and he has work to do.
Don't you just love that? You can't die. You get your ass back in your body. You have to keep working.
Yeah, and he's a very well-known healer, you know. So I said, okay, I'm not getting attached to this situation. He's very close to me.
Yeah.
But you know, if he has to go, he has to go, and that ways I've done. I think I've done a good job with detaching myself, because I really don't feel anything. I can see it as it is, and don't let it, you know, emotionally interfere with me. So the only thing I said was, if he needs help, can you just be there for him, whether to take him on the other side or bring him back, whichever way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he came back and he said, I had a white dragon escort me back, and I was told I have work to do.
That always cracks. I don't know. Your dragon seems so much nicer than the experiences I had, but I'm sure it's through a different lens perspective. I mean, your energy is so sweet and it's so calming that it doesn't surprise me your dragon experiences come across like so beautiful, right? And so lovely. They're almost, I think I saw a comment on here. It looks like unicorns have made babies with your dragons, because they kind of look, they do. They look kind of like that. They have that esoteric, magical, calming quality. Like you wouldn't really poop your pants if you saw them in real life, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
My dragons look nothing like that. They're the ones that are like the you know, sharp teeth, huge head.
I know. I saw your drawing.
Yeah, our drawings
Oh,
are very vibrationally different, and that's totally okay because there are also many different types of dragons, just like humans. They all come from different clans. So depending on what their function is, and they don't exist just for the sake of existing. That's the other weird thing about dragons. They always have a purpose. So they work together as a team. They no dragon is in isolation. So that's one of the reasons why their energy works really well. What happens is when there is something exceptionally huge that needs to be done, all the dragons are on deck. There's not one that will, like, they won't break off in factions and disagree and go through all of this. It's the law of entrainment. So whatever dragon has the biggest power, they have the ability to entrain the rest of the, I don't want to say lesser dragons because it's a clumsy word, but that's the word that's popping up. But the ones that haven't less experienced dragons will be entrained in that. And then that dragon has the opportunity to do what's almost like a hive mind, where you basically can amalgamate all the energies of the other dragons to do more with it. So amplify its own energy. When I was in Mexico, I had a dragon experience. And the reason why I was talking about the your white dragon that has the sunset background. So for me, not the creator, yeah, that one in your hand, yeah, that guy.
oh
So
yeah.
this one, yeah, so this one I met, and it wasn't necessarily white, it was a golden dragon, but it was definitely in a sunset formation as well. I think I posted it on Flight. So if anybody that wants to follow me, don't follow me under Huong Nguyen. I'm not going to add you as a friend because you're just going to be spammed pictures of my kids. Follow me on Flight, Flyte. And on there is a video that you'll see and photos of a cloud formation that looks like a rising phoenix, golden color dragon, and it is against a sunset background. So during my time in Mexico, when I was there, just before I would say COVID-19 hit hard for us in Canada, I was given the message that the golden dragon was actually there on mission to escort out the densest part of humanity, and that is actually right now the seniors or the elders group of our demographic. And it's not a bad thing. It's that group has collectively agreed to leave this planet because they carry the densest energy that is basically not allowing us to move forth in a new creation. So as a group, they will be escorted out. And poetically, it's on sunset, right? So it's basically the sunset group is leaving, and only when, so with this coronavirus, it's the red dragon that actually is the symbolization for me of basically COVID-19, because that's the dragon that is going to purify everybody on their own experiences, and all three dragons work in tandem. So once the golden dragon and the red dragon works together to achieve their goal, we will see more presence and we will feel more presence of the white dragon, which the energy is so calming. It is almost, I don't like using the word God frequency, but it is so, you bliss out for no reason. You just know.
Totally.
Yeah, you just know you are held in this beautiful frequency of purity and love, and you know there's no distortion to it because it's just at such a high level. But you can't experience that until you get purified. So everyone that's going through
but
there
you
and
see,
breaking down.
purification for us has been going on for many years now. It's not just happening now. It's, for me, it's been, I think, maybe more than 20 years that I've been, like totally washed away inside out, and it's like been through a roller coaster where I've not been able to even get a breather. It's just been an ongoing process. It's like one thing after the other, and there is no stopping. So there's no time to even sit and breathe with anything. It's just been, okay, this, remove that, remove this, remove that, remove this. It's like delete, delete, delete. And then you say, okay, what is happening to me here? And it's again like, just let it be. Just go with it. Don't resist it, because anytime I've resisted the changes, I've been miserable. So I've just had to surrender to whatever was being done and just
Yes.
let it all go.
Yeah.
So when you were talking about the two dragons that are going to be very important now, I had the rainbow dragon say that don't forget about me because I'm the one who's going to take you forward.
Ah,
So you
beautiful.
see,
Yeah. Yeah.
so the message that came through with this dragon, and this came much before these ones last
Yes.
year. And you know how they talk, they don't, it's not like a full sentence conversation that you have with them. They just give you words and then you've got to sort of join in and understand what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So this dragon came up, and this was the rainbow dragon. And he explained to me that the spectrum, the rainbow spectrum, is not just the 7 colors that you know of.
Yes.
There's more.
Of course.
And we have crossed the threshold now. So that's what he's doing, like, you know, moving, showing you the way forward.
Yeah.
And we've crossed the threshold now, and there is no looking back.
Yeah. So in the deck, is there a dragon that you work with quite dominantly right now? That keeps, because I know for me, depending on where I'm at, there's usually one that is working quite dominantly. And then once I kind of figured out whatever it is I needed to figure out, a new dragon pops up for me.
A new dragon, well, there's so many dragons around me all the time. I don't need to look into the deck, really. It's like all the time.
Well, is there one that's a favorite where you're like, oh, you get really excited meeting that one?
Well, this one.
Of course.
But this one is special too.
Yeah.
I'll just take that out. This one is special because this was the first dragon that came up when I cleared the land. So this one is connected to my house. Oh, where is it? And this one was special because this was the first dragon, and when I didn't know I could paint, you know, it's like I was surprised too at what I could create. So, oh, too many of them. Oh, where is it gone? So this one was special because this one came up when I was clearing the land, and this was my very first experience with the dragon energy. And I had never experienced anything like that before, because before that, for me, it was always the galactics. And this was very different. I could sense like a very, very, very forceful energy around me. And I had to, you know, ask what it was, because I thought maybe I did something wrong there when I cleared the land. And so this energy was all around me. And she said, well, if you want, I said, I don't see you, I just feel you. I want to see what you look like. And she said, well, then you've got to start painting. And this was the first dragon.
Wow. Beautiful. Aw, your first dragon's so lovely. Not that you should be, you know, comparing your experiences with other people.
Not all of them are so pretty. This one is quite serious.
Yeah, that one looks more like mine.
Yeah.
Yes, you never forget your first dragon interaction. It's just kind of like boys, right? You never forget that one. Whether it was good or bad, you never forget your first one, for sure.
This was I was surprised because I didn't know what was coming through. You know, it's like, and all my paintings have been like automatic paintings. There, I sit there and I think to myself, okay, now what am I supposed to do? And my hand moves.
Yeah.
And by the time I finish, it looks very different from what it started like. So even with just the sketching and even by the time I finish painting them, it looks very different. I had another very interesting experience with this one. So this is in a crystal, in an Andara crystal.
Oh, right. I remember you showing me that one when you were working on it.
Yeah. And this was in a crystal somebody posted on Facebook. And when I saw that post, the dragon, like immediately connected with me and said, you have to paint us.
I think what was the story behind that? I think we had a shared experience with that dragon. Was it who was the person that posted that Andara crystal?
Dana, this lady.
Oh, Dana Marie, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
She has these crystals and she had just posted them. So when I saw the post, well, you know how you look at the posts and it's gone. So you're not sitting with it all day. I had work to do, and I just looked at it and I closed my iPad and I said, I have work to do. And I was brought back from my kitchen back to the room to take a look at it again. And they said, paint us.
Wow.
So I had never painted a crystal before. And I said, I don't think I could do a good job with that. But this, I did. I'll say, okay, I outdid myself when I could paint the crystal as it was. So this was a orange Andara.
Yeah.
And there was one with just one face, and there was another one. There was this one with the two dragons. You see, there's two of them there.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. So did you want to? So I have a question, and I think it's great. Yeah, it's a great question. So when did your son come back into your life?
My son came back to live with me after 20 years in February.
In February this year.
This year. He just
2020?
called me.
What year are we in?
2020.
2020. Okay.
2020 February. He calls me and says, "I'm coming to live with you now." So I was like, okay. I was a bit surprised at my reaction, because I was not overjoyed. Neither I was. I mean, I was like neutral, and I said, okay, you can come back. So because he's not been with me all these years, he lives with his father. And he just calls me one day and says, I'm coming back. I'm coming to live with you. And he came with his bag and baggage to come and live with me in February. And it was a time when I was I had my paintings and I was writing the titles and the numbers. I didn't know how to do this. I've never done it before.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to, go through other people's decks to see how they do it and what needs to be written and how it needs to be done, this, that, whatever. And the dragon said, well, you know what, there's not going to be too many instructions. There's not going to be, a whole book written about it and all of that. Just give a small description of what the dragon represents. And I've seen that what I've written for each dragon doesn't really apply every time that you open a card, because I've done a few readings for people and I've not had to look in the book, because they start talking to you as soon as you look at the card.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a different message all the time.
Yeah, I get it.
And then my son is good with writing, so it was like all very well planned out for me. He came in just when I needed someone to sit and type, all of the 48 cards, and sit down with, okay, this represents this, and maybe this is what we need to write and how to write it down. And my son, I was struggling with it, because I said, I'm not sitting and writing all of this. I've done my work, I've done my paintings, and I'm not writing anything else. I've had enough. And he comes to me in Feb this year, and he said, I'll help you do it. And he did it for me in 2 days.
Wow.
Well, it kept changing, and it kept, you have to keep adding this, that, whatever, here and there, but he just got it all there, and it was done in 2 days. I was not expecting it to be done so fast. I still need to change. It's still changing.
Right.
That's the reason I think it was not done till now, is because I still get messages that such and such line needs to be changed, or something else needs to be changed here and there. So I'm still in the final changes of whatever needs to go. And I guess once the lockdown is over, then we'll get the final printing going on.
Yeah. So what I love about this, because I knew about this story. This is why I kind of prodded you to to talk about your son. What I love about this story is, so your son has not been actively living with you for 20 years. You separated from your husband, and then your son stayed with your husband during that time. And just basically out of nowhere, he showed up in February and said, "Hey,
Yeah.
let's be together.
Let's live together." Yeah.
And without any agenda or anything, he just was, you know, like, was he kicked out by his dad, or
No.
what was it?
It's
So-
like, no,
so
no.
push
He
factor?
just said, I'm.
So he didn't
No,
have
not
a push
really.
factor, it was
He
a pull
said,
factor.
no, not really. I think what happened there was, he said, I'm tired of living in the city,
Okay.
and I want to come and live with you, because
Yeah.
it's polluted, and it's you know, there's so much traffic, and there's too much happening here.
Yeah.
And I need time to be in a place which is quiet, and my house is absolutely in quarantine 24/7 from the last 20 years. So I've been living in quarantine and maintaining social distancing from the past 20 years.
You're such a way
So
shower.
it's nothing new to me. It's nothing new to me.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's different this time, because now that the whole world is in quarantine, I'm with people.
Yeah.
I'm not in my own house. So it's the peace and quiet, and he just got fed up of living in the city and, you know, struggling with all the stuff that goes on in big cities. So he just one fine day decided, I need to come and just be on my own, and can I come back to you? Well, he didn't say that. He said, okay, I'm coming back. I was like, okay.
So there's so much significance with that. I feel like 20 years, and then he shows up on the second month of 2020. There's so much significance to it. And I think it's great. I mean, you guys have obviously, and to show up at the point where you declared, I don't feel like writing this. I'm happy to do the artwork, but I don't really feel like writing the descriptors. And so I love that synchronicity, that lining up, all of that. I think and
he's good with writing. So,
yeah.
You know, I had all my answers there.
Yeah.
So a few people helped me, a friend helped me, you know, just to put the numbers and get the headings for each card. And then that too kept changing.
Yeah.
And that got frustrating enough. And that's when I said, I'm not sitting and writing the book for this deck. Someone has to come and help me do it. And my son shows up. So
that's perfect. And that's how dragons work. It's just like if you need help, something is gifted immediately without any effort.
Immediately, it's like it's magic. It's like
it is
instant. Yeah. You ask and it's there before you even finish your thought. It's happening for you.
Yeah,
so
exactly. I love that.
It's amazing.
So we only have 5 more minutes, because Todd Medina runs a tight ship, because Morgan likes to schedule back to back. But there are lots of people that are asking about how they can get their hands on your deck of cards. So are you taking pre-orders, or you're doing a GoFundMe? How can those people help you?
I'm funded.
You're funded?
They help me. They help me get enough work to fund the cards. So
perfect. So how do people get those cards?
Sorry, once it's ready, I will put up a post, and I'm not sure about pre-orders. I mean, people have suggested I should take pre-orders, but you know, with India, I'm a bit. I'm not sure how it would go, so I'll wait. Well, I've been asked to wait, so because I still need to make a few changes in the book. Okay. And as you see, yeah, the titles are not very clear, so I need to, you know, highlight all of this and make a few changes. Once it's ready, I will put up a post, and then they can send me their addresses, and I will take the orders then.
Okay, so if you're interested in the deck, Make sure you follow Gayatri Singh on Facebook. She will keep you updated. It sounds like it's still an in progress thing. And as soon as she gets the blessing to go full steam ahead, whatever that means in Dragon World, everybody will know. And then you can definitely support your artwork. Love all of that. So do you have any last minute things that you want to share, or you're good? I mean, you have a lot. That's a lot to share.
I have a lot that I can talk about. Maybe we can get together some other time and do.
Of course, yes. So if this show resonates, I just want to pop this show resonates, make sure that you move the energy forward, and any contributions to the Soulology platform, there will be a PayPal link if you want to contribute, donate, send love, whatever terminology makes you feel good. There will be a link dropped in the comments below. And I think I just saw Todd saying, Greg Prescott from In 5D is on the next show.
Next, yeah.
So he's right after you. So that would be interesting as well. But thank you so much for joining us. That's so awesome. And your artwork is always beautiful. Doesn't matter if it's a crystal or or a rainbow dragon, all of your artwork. I'm sure even if you drew like a bag of poop, it would still be beautiful. So you're very talented. I think it's time for you to just own the confidence. You're very talented.
Thank you. I'm learning every day. I'm learning. So thank you. It was lovely talking to you, and we'll get in touch soon.
Yes, of course. All right, Mr. Medina, are you listening?
Back to you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.